Hi, CEC. This is Gretta Stidman. I'm a teacher at CEC, a learning specialist, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about my son in honor of Transgender Awareness Week. And my son is 17 years old and has had a journey, and we had a journey together of him coming into his true self as male. He was born a girl, and I remember when I found out that I was having a girl, being very excited, and even saying, I have a woman inside me, and being very excited. So very happy to have a little girl when I did find that out. He was a very feminine child, princess dresses and just girly. And I never really pushed that on him. I wanted to make sure that, we weren't pushing any kind of gender norms onto a little person, and wanted him to discover himself. But like I said, really, if given pink or blue, it was always pink. And he was always a very unique person, from being a baby, extremely intelligent and sensitive, and always including everybody in everything. Just the sweetest heart ever. Anyway, when he was in, I believe it was the 7th grade, he was still identifying and presenting as a girl. And I went to one of his plays that he did over the summer, and I knew that he wasn't really doing great emotionally, but it hadn't quite hit me how much he was struggling until I saw him up on stage. I looked at him and on stage and saw that he was really deeply sad. And I asked him after the play if he was depressed. And he burst into tears and said that, yes, he was struggling with his emotions. And so that was the beginning of him going into therapy. And as he was in therapy, realizing that his body didn't match his inner being, and how that was really, really difficult for him, and that he really did not feel like inside that he was female. And so that was, in middle school. And his dad and I were always very accepting of this process, but it was still a really scary process, because we know that people who, one, are LGBTQ can be bullied more, they're more vulnerable to suicide, but specifically people who are transgender are even more ridiculed and marginalized, pushed to the side in society. They often have trouble getting medical care and jobs. And this is, of course, an issue for all people who identify differently, but the statistics are not in favor of people who are transgender. So it was a long journey of acceptance, for me, even more than my son's dad. And I told him, I'm really sorry, but you're going to have to let me ask all the really stupid questions because I really need to understand this. I had never really I'd known people who were transgender but had never really spoken to them before. And so my son, as the patient, wonderful heart that he was, said, okay, ask me all the dumb questions. So I asked him things like, is it a phase? Are you sure? How do you know? Things like that. And every answer that he had was so well thought out and so authentic. When he was entering, so he entered the 8th grade as female with using female pronouns and his given name, and then he left 8th grade as male, using his name now, Andy. And it was actually the people at school. He felt, even though I feel like his dad and I were very accepting, he was able to ask to have his pronouns be to his gender. He asked for male pronouns in middle school. He asked his teachers before he asked his family. And I was talking on the phone with his school counselor, and they used the school counselor used the male pronouns, and Andy hadn't asked me to do that yet. And I think that really shows the power of school, and what we can do, and how schools can be that safe place sometimes when families are not safe, or when families are not even perceived as safe yet. So we took our cues from the school. But before he went into high school, so changing schools into high school, I asked him, are you sure you want to go in with male pronouns? Do you just want to go in with the female pronoun? It might be easy for you to do that. Or to go in as they or something like that, but are you sure you want to make that leap? And he said, would you want to be called by he? You, my mom, female, would you want to be called by your wrong pronoun? And that was a moment for me of being like, no, that would make me really uncomfortable. So anyway, that's just to say that he was able to be very patient with me and answer all my questions. And also able to ask me the questions that made me go, oh yeah, of course, and to show me my own bias and my own way that my own thinking was stuck. So I feel very grateful for having that. And now he is a junior in high school at Cherry Creek High School, and he is presenting as male. He has he uses the pronouns. Everyone at the school was extremely supportive. We've never had any instances of bullying. He uses male bathrooms, and he has really led me and his entire family into really understanding this piece, this beautiful part of the diversity of humanity. And so, I feel very grateful. But anyway, I wanted to offer my story to all of you who I think your generation is just the most accepting generation, and you all teach us how to be accepting and inclusive in the world so much more than any other generation that has come before you. I'm really honored to be able to teach you and be with you all, and hopefully we can see each other face to face soon. And if you have any questions for me around this, or need any support around LGBTQ issues, or specifically transgender issues, I'm happy to speak with you. You can send me an email at gretta_stidman@dpsk12.org. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and hopefully we can all see each other again in person soon. Thanks.